Say after.
Call to order the regular board meeting for Pleasantdale School District 107 Board of Education at 6 p.m. on April 15, 2026. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Brocco?
Here.
Mrs. Lenzen?
Here.
Mr. Nash?
Here.
Mrs. Walters is absent. Mr. Zona?
Here.
And Ms. Simmons absent. Mrs. Marchion?
Here.
All right, tonight we are honoring our Scotty winners, and this is an annual award that is offered through the West 40 Intermediate Service Center each year. I'm actually going to turn it over to Dr. Arundel, who is going to introduce our Scotty winner, and he's going to lead us in the pledge.
I'm making him stand right next to me while I say all of the wonderful things. So, as Dr. Pelzet said, every year West 40 holds a School Citizen of the Year competition for our students. It's a student leaving typically your grade level center. So, with Ms. Tomei has a 4th grader nominated, unfortunately ill and not able to be here tonight, and an 8th grader. It goes all the way up through high school. So we traveled to West Leiden for a very nice event that they host for us. The teachers nominate the students. I just get to be the one there presenting and saying all the nice things about him. So here's what Dominic's teacher said about him. Dominic exemplifies outstanding citizenship. As a member of his 8th grade class, Dominic brings positivity, respect, reliability, and a very strong work ethic. He is always friendly and smiling. He makes the day better for both teachers and students. He shows integrity and honor in the way he treats others and the way he carries himself. On top of that, he is an extremely passionate and motivated learner who stands up and stands out and speaks up for others. Dominic Deligopolsky is a fantastic person, and we are proud to have him as our School Citizen of the Year.
One more.
We can do it one more.
All right, so 1, 2, 3.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Great job. Congratulations.
Dominic, can I get a picture of you and Ms. Tomei? Just
Dr. Arundel.
Mr. Rundle?
Or I'm sorry.
All right, I guess we're getting a picture here.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you.
Take a picture with Mom. Maybe back to class. You're not out.
Good. No,
That's great. Yeah.
we'll crop you up. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah, we do. We have our 6th grade students recently completed a poetry activity as part of their Surviving the Unthinkable unit in recognition of the 30th anniversary of National Poetry Month. After closely reading texts such as A Long Walk to Water and Into the Lifeboat, students selected powerful words and phrases to craft original poems. Their writing reflects vivid imagery and strong emotion, with lines such as "The sky choked out the light" and "The inky blackness swallowing all light," demonstrating both thoughtful textual connections and creative expression. These final pieces showcase students' deep understanding of how individuals experience disaster and their ability to communicate feelings beautifully through poetry. So if you have some time, check them out. Our kids are incredibly talented and did a great job.
Thank you. Okay, next is item 3, open forum. Since there's no one here to address the board, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is item 4, the consent agenda, which consists of the following. So 4A is approve regular meeting minutes of the February 18, 2026 meeting. 4B, approve closed session meeting minutes of the February 18, 2026 meeting. 4C, approve the April 2026 personnel report. 4D, approve payment of the March payroll and April warrants. Becky was our checker this month. I did speak with her earlier and she did not have any concerns. 4E, approve 6th through 8th grade math resource. 4F, approve board policy 765. 4G, approve final staffing recommendations. And 4H, resolution authorizing certain payments. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Brocco?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenzen?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mr. Zona?
Yes.
Mrs. Marchion?
Yes. Okay. Item 5, administrative reports.
All right, so we'll start with a community engagement update. As the board knows, the district has adjusted the pace of work in regards to community engagement as we await an updated demographic study and greater clarity on how the Lyons Township High School Willow Springs property will be developed. This adjusted timeline reflects our continued thoughtful approach to addressing district challenges and ensuring we make the best possible decisions for the future of the district. At the same time, this revised pace includes an information effort to keep our community informed about both the challenges we're facing and the work completed through the community workshops so far. We plan to use social media, email communications, our website, and the district newsletter to share information about the engagement process to date, as well as the issues currently facing the district. Additionally, we'll use this time to further develop options identified by the community, gain a clearer understanding of the potential project costs, and refine our estimates for the operational costs associated with any possible solution. So while the pace of the work has changed, the work continues. Any questions or? Yeah, great.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to professional learning update. Each spring, the administration provides the board with an update on professional learning across the district. As you know, there are several pathways teachers can pursue to engage in professional learning. Tonight, Jennifer Ban will provide us with an overview of this year's professional learning efforts and share our plan and learning opportunities for the summer. Dr. Ban, all yours.
Good evening. Okay, just a quick update on our professional learning for this school year. So our by the numbers, 45 of our staff members have attended conferences or workshops. At least 10 teachers are working on or have completed a PD pathway, and 5 teachers have engaged in instructional coaching cycles this year. We're really excited to kind of move the coaching program forward next year. Mrs. Raleigh is going to start overseeing that, and we've got some really great ideas for how we can encourage coaching within the district on a greater basis. So our institute topics this year, it was our CPR year, so that always makes it a little challenging. Every other year we train the entire staff in CPR. That does then, and we do that during our institute days because that's when we can actually get everybody trained. So sometimes we have to maneuver things so that certain groups of teachers are together and not together at certain times so we can get everybody in, but we're doing pretty well. The principals are wonderful about working with me to ensure that everybody gets to where they need to be and everybody gets CPR done before the end of the school year. So I really appreciate that. One of the new things that we did this year was take advantage of something called Empower Ed through West 40. It's a free professional learning grant that they have where they can provide free professional learning to the entire region. So this year they've offered, and they offer these things on institute days. Some of them are in person, some of them are virtual. They've offered networking sessions for our specials teachers so they can network with specials teachers across the region, which has been fantastic. Some in-person trainings. They have instructional aid paraprofessional series that they offer, networking groups, content area, teaching in the content area, PDs. So almost all of our teachers have gotten to go to at least one of these sessions, whether virtually or in person, and they're going to continue to do this year over year, which is really exciting, and it's a great way for us to make sure everybody gets what they need in terms of professional learning. One thing we went further on with West 40 was, one of the things they offered was a building teacher leader capacity PD, and we couldn't do it on the day that they were offering it. So Dave had the great idea of saying, why don't you see if they can come to us and do a workshop? And I said, Dave, that's ridiculous. We can't ask them to do that. But I did anyway, and they did, and they wound up putting together an entire series for us for all of our teacher leaders that started in October and continued with 3 more sessions throughout the year. The first session was on building the capacity of our teacher leaders. The second session was on providing psychological safety. Session 3 was on navigating difficult conversations, and session 4 was on planning and facilitating powerful meetings. Both of our building leadership teams took part in this, as did our curriculum council and all of our building administrators and myself and Mrs. Poplowski. So that's been fantastic. We're looking forward to working with them some more next year. Thank you, Dave, for going out of the box and saying, why don't you see if they can do it for us? And they actually love working with us too, which is really cool. The other piece of PD that's a little bit new that's going to continue for this summer. Last summer we introduced the Pleasantdale PD from your patio series, where teachers could do professional learning activities from home, led by other teachers. They created sessions for each other, and then teachers signed up for their sessions. They got a Google Meet link and they got to hop on a session. And we had 5 different categories last summer: literacy, math, English language learning, instructional technology, and Skyward Q, since we were moving to Skyward Q. Angelique Shane, our data manager, did a great job of putting together a bunch of different PDs to prepare everybody. She also recorded all of them and sent them out to the entire district so that people could watch them on their own time. They couldn't go to the actual PD. We had 22 different sessions last summer. Overall, 45 of our staff members attended at least one session. Attendance for the overall program was 200 people. So we had 200 attendees across these 22 sessions, which was fantastic. Made up of 45 people, that was people going to multiple sessions. So
I'm so confused.
yeah, I know.
I was like,
I could not figure out
multiple sessions.
I could not figure out a good way
Gotcha.
to communicate that. 45 people went to sessions, almost all of them went to multiple sessions. So when I took the attendance of everything, we had 200 attendees.
Like, so 200 sessions were attended.
200
Individually?
Seats were filled.
Yeah, over the
Because there's only 45 people.
So you may
But
be
like-
around to 3 or 4 sessions.
It's like a
I
marathon.
know.
So it would be like 40 people, and the 6 of us were of those 40 people in each different segment.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, I'm just kidding, guys. Thank you.
No,
I get
that
it,
means
thank you.
I went to a session and I attended 5 different sessions,
Gotcha.
so I had 5 attendances. And when I added up all the attendances, there were 200.
Got it, okay.
How's that?
Yes, that makes sense.
How's
The
that?
train leaves the station.
Right?
Yeah, it was just hard to figure out how to communicate that, but we had great attendance. Long story short, we had great attendance in the Pleasantdale PD from your patio. We're going to do it again this summer. I've already sent out the form for teachers to start proposing sessions. I'm actually going to reach out to West 40 and see if some of those Empower Ed providers would also provide some sessions for us over the summer. I'm going to do a session, so we'll hopefully have great attendance this summer as well. People loved it. And we have summer work. We'll just be doing curriculum work, etc.
So does that, like the PD patio, since it's 45, I don't, what's our total staff?
Total teaching staff is about
70 something?
75.
Yeah.
So this is just, it's 45 because this is just one of the pathways they can choose, but if they're not going to PD
Oh, this is in the
patio-
summer. This is,
Right, but-
yeah. This is
but-
just optional.
Oh, it's
If
just
you
like-
want to attend PD sessions over the summer, we
Okay.
had 22 different sessions you could attend in those 5 categories, and you could choose, you could go to as many or as few as you wanted to. 45 teachers in the district took advantage of that,
Okay.
which is awesome. And we also had some assistants join in on these sessions,
Nice.
even though they don't get paid for them.
So
They
it's
were
like
like,
extra credit.
yeah, and they get paid for it. Yeah, they get
Oh,
paid
nice.
to attend
Okay.
the session, and the presenters get paid to present the sessions.
Okay.
So sorry if that wasn't clear.
No, thank you. Do
Well
they get
done.
like continuing ed credits as well?
No, they just get paid.
But I mean, that's great. I was just curious, like what the incentive.
We actually, so to renew your teacher's license, you need 120 hours of professional development over 5 years. In one school year, we provide enough through our institute days that if you put in your institute day PD credit for all 4 of our institute days for 4 years, you're done.
Oh,
So
perfect.
we provide everybody with enough PD hours to renew their license
Okay.
just by coming to our institute days.
Got it.
So, yeah.
That was kind of my question.
Yep, I understood, yep.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that's why we don't do it for like little minuscule things,
That makes
because
sense.
and plus like people don't want to keep all that paperwork.
That is also true,
Yeah.
right?
So we make it really easy, they fill out a form, they get their evidence of completion, and they can enter those in, and within 3 to 4 years, they have enough credits from us to renew their license.
Perfect.
So, yep,
Excellent.
cool. Anthony J. D'Angelo is an educator and a collegiate empowerment speaker and has written some books. I was like, I don't know who this is, but I don't know.
Okay, we'll take it.
Any other questions?
Thank you, that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Jennifer.
much.
Well done. All right, moving on to summer facilities projects. Last month, we heard a report from our facilities advisory team members about the work taking place over spring break. And this summer, Griffin Sontag and the maintenance team have made great progress over spring break and have been working on refining our plan for summer maintenance. He has a short presentation to share some of the work that's going to be happening this summer.
Yeah, thanks. Good evening, everyone. Summer facilities projects. You may have seen in the memo, highlighted a few things we got done over spring break, including finishing we removed the bleachers over here from the south gym, and we were able to put up the mats to kind of complete the mats all the way around the south gym. So, and then we painted last summer, so that looks great in there now. The last step really is the floor.
Yeah,
which
how
will
does the
be-
floor look after taking the bleachers out?
We need to do some work this
Great.
summer.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Like, I was gonna
yeah,
say,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Maybe a little,
It's been a while.
maybe a little bit of gum got thrown down there over the
Okay.
last
A little
40
bit of gum
years.
stuck there,
Oh,
so
sticky. Okay,
yeah.
got
So
it.
so we've got a plan to clean that this
Okay.
summer really well. Fill, they screwed some of them into the ground, so there's
Oh,
some
I didn't realize.
holes
Okay.
that have been removed. So we've got to patch those a little bit.
Are we looking at like a full replacement or?
We are next summer.
Okay, but
So
this summer
when we
we-
priced everything out, we had hoped to do both this summer, but we're gonna need to go one at a time. And so we're final stages of the elementary school.
Got it.
So and I'll hit that on here. Facilities advisory team did a great job, kind of going over the top of everything for the future. I'm going to go just with some lists of just a little bit more in depth. And obviously, Bill, I know Becky's not here tonight, but if you have anything you want to jump in on, feel free. But here's just real quick what we're going to do. So last year's projects, kind of these are the biggest ones that we did, and everything went great. We did everything went great. I mean, it really is. It's nice to be able to put a plan together, do all the work leading up to it, sign everything, get it all ready, and then just hold people accountable all summer long to get it done in the kind of the small windows that we have, especially over at the elementary school with summer school over there. So to clean and do any of the projects is a very short window from really like July 4th until teachers come back first week of August even to get their classrooms started to be prepped. So great summer last summer, and so then as we're looking at this summer at the elementary school, we're looking at phase 2 of that gym. So a new floor and a new movable wall with a door inlay. And so we're excited about the door because we think
What can we explain? I don't know what this is.
excited about HVAC, excited about a door.
Oh.
So you don't have to open the whole
That's
wall to be
brilliant.
able to go back and forth. Yeah, so they actually come like that if you pay for the door. So so we're gonna have one inlay door that they can open and be able to go through, and then we'll open it when we need to, the whole wall, but most of the time that will be plenty. And that's gonna be great. Quotes are coming in pricier than I wanted, but we're gonna have to. I mean, this is what we want to do to refresh it, so we're gonna do that. I have no idea, but it is a huge door. When you look at it, they were in measuring. They had the lift out, and
Wow.
I mean, it is a huge door. This is not a little part of the project. So
Can like a teacher open it?
they'll be- it's electric.
Oh.
Yeah, it's mechanical.
Oh,
So you
okay.
actually need two from a safety standpoint.
Oh, okay.
Two people have to be on either side of it and push the button in order for it to open. And so we're gonna maintain that safety feature that we
Okay.
currently have. The electric's already there, so that works out well. But we're excited because we painted there, we put up new mats there, so this will kind of finish this gym refresh over there, and it's going to look good. And we're also going to do the APR part, the cafeteria part. So the whole area there will have a new floor, and then the wall will be the chimney. it's exciting. It's exciting. It's going to be great.
So with the floor, I think last time we were talking about the different floor options. What did it kind of?
Yeah, we're landing on kind of the what's called LVT. So a lot of people use it. It's very durable. It's easy to clean. You can take a wet scrubber brush that they can actually drive over it to clean it. And it's gonna be in panels. So it's almost gonna look a little bit like, I don't want to say hardwood, but like it's gonna kind of look that woodish that you might put in your house, in your foyer. But it's that durable. You can spill on it, and it'll take care of everything. It's like resistant to everything. So, and then you can paint the lines on. We're gonna actually cut the lines into it. It'll last longer, and it'll look better. So we're really excited about that. And yeah, we worked with Ms. Tomei and Mr. Enzo kind of the design of the floor and some of that. So,
Are you guys like putting like logos on it or anything like that?
we weren't going to do a logo.
Middle school?
Oh, yeah.
No. Yeah, right?
The middle
Okay,
school,
that's
yeah, the big
okay.
gym at the middle school does kind of a contest gym, they call
Yeah.
it, and that's a hardwood floor. The previous board, that was inexpensive, but it is one of the nicest middle school gyms around.
Okay.
Elementary gym is going to be more like, I'm sorry?
Practical.
Yeah, more practical and more for younger students.
Oh, true.
So, even the parts like, at this point we aren't planning to even put like a full basketball court or a full volleyball court on the floor. We're going to eliminate a lot of those lines because kids generally don't play a full game of those kind of sports there. So it'll have like a circle so kids can circle up in the center. It'll have some dots so that people can go to dots for some of the games they play. Some agility ladders for some different parts that they do, and kind of a box around it, so there is going to be a court. Still have the basketball hoops that we're going to leave for now. They'll be able to come down. People can still shoot baskets and so forth, but we're not planning to put a free throw line and a three-point line and all of that stuff. So it's going to really be more of like a multi-purpose space for younger children, all up to 4th grade at this point.
Can I ask a question about the APR side? Are those bleachers that are up against? Like, have we evaluated? 'Cause I've never seen them out.
Right, we've actually removed them.
Oh.
So that's another reason why you
wonderful.
haven't seen them out.
They were
I've
part
not
of
seen
phase
them.
1.
Oh,
Yeah, we
I'm
did
sorry,
that
I
last
missed
summer.
that.
No
Okay.
worries. Yeah,
Okay,
and I
that's
might not have
great.
highlighted that as part of it, but we removed the bleachers to give us some more space in there. And you're right, we were only out a couple of times a year, maybe for Mr. Woltman's
Right.
sound to be on top of.
That's the only time I ever saw
Wasn't
it.
really big enough to
Right,
use
okay.
it that way. So we
Perfect.
took those out, we put mats up, and then we painted as phase 1, and now we're doing the floor and the wall for phase 2, and we're gonna get the rest of the mats out for some storage.
Thank you. Sorry,
Sure.
I
No.
didn't notice.
Like to see this.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
This is
I
great.
mean, I don't step foot into that school anymore.
Right.
It's gonna be really great.
Sounds great.
It's gonna be really great.
The kids love it. I've heard they're really excited about
They
it.
like the bleachers out.
Oh, yeah, specifically the bleachers. No, they just say it looks cool. So.
Yeah, it's, and again, I think I've said this before here and definitely at facilities, like I subscribe to the broken window theory where if you take care of things and you put in newer things or at least a slap a coat of paint on it, people in general will take care of it better. If you've got marks on the wall, you got graffiti, guess what it brings? More graffiti. So, I mean, we make it, if any of that ever happens, we get it off as quickly as possible because you don't want that to become the norm and people to be okay with that. We have one more classroom furniture group, so kindergarten's going to get furniture this summer, so for starting in the fall, and then some other stuff. We're also beginning the classroom painting refresh. It's been kind of on hold for the last few years, but this is something that we did in the first few years that I was principal, was we picked a handful of classrooms each year at each school and painted them. And again, when it just brightens everything up. And we're gonna continue to an accent wall and go from there, so.
Yeah, how do we pick the color for the accent wall?
Yeah, it's still on the list of what we're doing, so.
You need a committee to
Right.
Well, yeah, we've got some different conversations about that, so we'll take that,
Schools of thought.
we'll take care of it. There are multiple schools of thought for sure. And we will begin the phase, year one of the safety projects that Dr. Pelzat presented a couple months ago now. And much of that is going to just be kind of the low-hanging fruit, getting some stuff on the windows, and some of that we're going to plan for the bigger project of repainting doors and putting numbers on and stuff like that, where we're gonna take another year to plan for that and do that right. So let me just keep going. The middle school, we said no to the fire alarm bid. I'm still working on a way to make that happen. So I think we've got kind of a plan to do replace. Basically, we want to replace what we have to replace instead of what the bids that you rejected last month were kind of a large rip and replace plan that, there was just some miscommunication in terms of what we really wanted to bid out. So we'll bring back more information about this at the next meeting. But I'm hoping to get that done, but that still needs a little bit of massaging to make work. We're starting with year 2 of classroom furniture at middle school, 7th grade, right?
7th grade.
Thank you. Safety projects, year 1, again on the list. Painting. Room 23 needs floor replacement, so we're gonna change that floor out. And actually, that's a room where we're gonna. So we've got the VCT tile that you're used to in all the rooms that we have to wax, and we're going to switch that out for this classroom. This classroom currently has a double classroom that generally meets with students with special needs, and we're going to put actually an LVT, it's going to look again like a hardwoodish type floor in there that's going to be very durable. And we're going to try that and see how it goes with one classroom. We have it in the music rooms too already, and I think as the tiles wear out and we start to replace stuff, we're thinking Dr. Rundle and Ms. Raleigh and I will really pick the color that we think could be the floor of the future for the middle school as we have to replace.
We'll see a photo of this?
What color is that?
Also look Friday.
Should I be bringing? I can get them.
I'm so curious now.
I'll go get the flowers. I'll get the sample when we're done.
It's a lot of pressure.
So that's an exciting one. All right, the rest of it is kind of typical stuff, and then so future ideas needs. So we're going to update the capital improvement plan because we're coming up on the last year of that. So we need to kind of re-up that. We need to keep planning for future student growth. That's a big one. We also need to keep pushing for this permanent middle school recess area solution. So we don't have that yet, but we need to keep that on the front burner, which is why it's in the top bullets. Door access will be coming to next year, talking about badge access and kind of redoing our system there because of the manufacturer out of business, and it's time to switch to a new spot there. Interior and exterior cameras you can read as we go down, and then there's just other things that are on the list. And kind of eventually we'll get to some of these, but I'd like the south gym. Roof would be a nice thing. We'll see how to go with that. Windows and tuck pointing, we'll see. Floor is going to be a for sure. There's also some mechanicals in there that we don't use anymore. We're removing those. So I'm starting to work on figuring out the best way to get the best pricing on that. So whether we bid it out traditionally or whether we use one of our co-op purchase opportunities like we have with certain projects. So engaging with a couple of different contractors to talk about that. The quote. Don't ask where it came from. This isn't any fancy person, but I thought it was a good quote, and so I kept it. All right. Any other questions?
Forward to the floor of the future. I can't wait to see it.
I'm very excited.
Look at you guys.
Best meeting ever.
And who would have known?
Good number, pretty. Awesome.
Okay, moving on to freshman preparedness report. Over the past several years, the district has partnered with Lyons Township High School to implement a freshman preparedness survey. The purpose of this survey is to gather direct feedback from students about how well prepared they feel they are for the academic demands of high school. Lyons Township High School also provides us with our first semester grade information, which gives us a fuller picture of how our students are performing at LT. I'm looking forward to sharing these results with you. So let me just get up to the podium here, and yeah, we'll get into it. All right. So again, this is an annual report. We've been, first slide, we've been involved with LT and putting this report together, I want to say before COVID for sure. So for the last 7, 8, I think even close to 9 years, we've been working through this. Oh, no, it's okay. And so the way that it's implemented is the way that LT does it in the past. What they would do is they would send out the link to the survey through students' Canva and say, okay guys, go ahead and fill this out when you have a few minutes. And we got just horrible response rates. Like we get 10% of the kids because there was no real motivation for them to do it. Now, as a district, we would send emails out to our previous 8th grade, now freshman parents saying, hey, please ask your kid to do this thing, fill out the survey. Wouldn't get a whole lot of feedback, wouldn't get a great response. What they do now is every kid takes it in their PE class, so we have a much better response rate. So we went from 10, 12, I think one year we had 20%, up to 90% response rate, which is great. So again, the class of 29 has 888 students in it. 97 of them are Pleasantdale students. When you look at who actually took the survey, they had about 752 students, or they had 752 students take the test, and 73 of them were Pleasantdale students. So about 10% throughout. 10% of our students make up 10% of their freshman class, and about 10% of the respondents here. Additionally, I think something that's important to keep in mind is that these are 14 and 15-year-olds, right? This is the first time they may have taken a perception survey. So you've got to take those results a little bit with a grain of salt, right? We're not quite fully formed beings when we're 14 or 15 years old. So some perspective there with that. But I think coupling that with the grade information that we get makes it really helpful information. So we do get first semester grades from LT. And the reason we wait until March is because we want kids to have gone through their first cycle of finals. We don't really have finals here, and so we want kids to have had to study for those finals and take those finals and kind of get a feel for how that went when they're responding to this survey. All right. Okay, so again, there are 11 categories. These are the same categories that I've reported on in previous years. Everything from, life at middle school to life at high school, to how safe they felt at school, things like that. So again, similar to what you've seen in the past. What we do when we do this presentation is we do a 2025, this is last year's data, and then this is this year's respondents, so you can kind of do a little compare and contrast on some of these middle school questions. Again, it's important to kind of look at the always and usually as a positive correlation, and the sometimes never as kind of that negative correlation, or maybe not so great. So again, you're looking for high percentages here under the always and usually, which we have, and then looking for maybe lower percentages down the line. So again, kids feeling safe at school. I mean, when you look at those two kind of together, you're looking at over 80% of our kids. There was someone who I can talk to about a personal problem. Again, you're hovering around 80%. An adult that I could talk to about class, again, 85%-ish. And then respected and treated fairly, you're looking at over 65% there. So again, good results. We're looking for majorities here, and I think we're hitting those. In high school, We talk about their life in high school, and again, you got to remember they're in the first semester of high school, so not at the end, but involved in clubs and sports. 90% of our kids are on those teams, in those clubs, making those connections to the school, which is important. These are the ones that I think are important, are keeping my materials organized. We want to see that hitting about 80-85% of our kids being able to say, yep, I know how to keep my stuff organized and I'm ready for class. Getting help when they need it. And I think that's something that's super important, is to be able to say, I need some help and I know how to do that. And again, you're looking at 90% of our kids, 95% of our kids saying, yeah, I know how to get that help when I need it. And then friends at school. Are they social? Are they making friends and making those connections with peers at school? And again, we're in that kind of 95-ish% range, 97% range, which is good. This is where we want to be. So each year we ask the kids to rank their top 3 adjustments. So they have this whole long list of things that possibly could have been kind of transition points, and then giving us your top 3. It's interesting because fitting in with new people wasn't one that we've seen in the past. And so, which is weird because when you go back to this slide, like 99% of them are saying like, oh yeah, I got a bunch of friends. But here they're saying that fitting in was most difficult. And again, you got to remember, we're dealing with 15-year-olds, right? And it could there could be a lot just explained when you look at the demographic that's completing the survey. But fitting in with new people, keeping up with homework and greater workload, balancing academic and co-curricular activities, and then finding my classes were kind of the top 4. Do you have a question?
Another question, just an observation. I think like fitting in with new people, I feel like I said this probably maybe more to like my mom friends or whatever, but I do feel like because for the most part, they're with the same kids, K through 8,
Yeah.
they're never merging, and so I think they just inherently come to school with the same kids year
Yeah.
over year, and it's not like they're being thrown in with this new population of students until they're like 15
Yeah.
years old. So I don't know how we address that as a district, but it'd be interesting to see if there's ways that we can assist with that before
Yeah.
they go off to high school, because I do think they're so comfortable in this setting, which is great, but it really is a detriment a little bit when they get to high
Yeah.
school because they haven't had that exposure to merge with a broader base of students.
Yeah, I'm really glad you pointed that out, and it's a really smart comment. And it's true, right? Being in the small little kind of Mayberry type of environment is awesome because they do know each other and they are comfortable. But then when they go to, when they're a 10% of a class of 1,000
Right.
kids, it can be overwhelming. And so, I think LT does a nice job of trying to help with that transition. They send staff over to the middle school to meet with the kids, to talk about what life is like at the high school. I think there also is like a night when they are able to go to the high school and walk the building. I don't know if that's Pleasantdale specific or if they have some other schools there too. Maybe that would be helpful if it was like maybe Highlands and Pleasantdale together, because they're the 2 small ones.
Right.
Maybe coming together, that might be helpful. But yeah, I think it's a good point. It's a tough one to address because our size is,
Right.
I think it's our greatest benefit, and it also in some ways
Right.
is a liability,
I was gonna say
right?
the opposite's true as well, because they've been together for so long. If you're not included in X amount, now you have so much more available
Yeah.
to you
Yeah.
that you can open up to something new opposed to just what everyone else does.
Yeah.
I think that's a positive.
And it may, I do think our kids get there, right? I think it maybe takes them a little bit longer
Yeah.
because they're coming from such a small environment. But what I hear from parents often is maybe a little bit rough transition there at the beginning, but man, they are friends with kids from Western Springs and LaGrange, and they're making these friendships that they didn't have access to before. And again, not that they lose their Pleasantdale connections, but they're just gaining additional connections from other schools.
Yeah, I just think some of those students are like missing that like social growth here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To learn how to like just talk to like kids you don't know.
Go up to a lunch
like,
table that you don't know and say, "Hey guys, is this seat
Yeah.
taken?" Right? Because you know everybody in the
And
cafeteria
it may be
here.
dumb. I don't know. Maybe do
No.
like do we consider hosting like a
mixer
school
or
dance
something.
like
Yeah.
Highland, because Highlands I would feel like is pretty much in the same position,
Yeah, they're about
right?
the
So
same
like, do we
size.
have like a school dance like in 8th grade that like
A mixer?
incorporates both
Right.
schools like after fortnightly or something? I don't
That'd
know.
be
Maybe.
Jetson that.
Something.
Right, right. Yeah,
Horrible,
you
did you
don't
say?
Adorable.
Would you say that's adorable?
Yeah, well, because if you think of like fortnightly, like seeing what happens with people that know each other.
Yeah.
And then it's like someone
I
who
don't
don't
know,
know each
some sort
other.
of social
Yeah.
day, like a Friday
It'd be
night.
social.
I don't know.
Definitely worth looking into for sure.
Another idea I just had as you're talking is something easy. Like I feel like we don't really advertise like the LT summer camps,
Yes.
and I think that
And
might
sports.
be because there's so many sports that all the feeders go to.
Yeah.
That might be
Great
a good
idea.
opportunity for our kids to interact from other schools and start forming those friendships early.
Great
so maybe
idea.
if we advertise it through like the Friday updates
Yep.
or whatever. So it's already out. That was just a thought.
It's a great
It's
idea.
easy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Because I mean, like, you think about homecoming, it's like in September. Like,
Yeah.
they just put
Yeah,
their toe in the water
yeah.
and like, it's
Right,
intimidating.
And they have this big social event that
Yeah.
is somewhat defining.
Insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like the sports,
Good
like,
point.
the local Lions Township, like the baseball is all the kids in the neighborhood, the football. There's like a lot of sports things too that
Yeah.
they can make outside Pleasantdale for
Great idea.
just a thought.
Good. So as we kind of move on, we asked our kids how well prepared they felt in each subject area. And again, I think something that's important to remember is that we're looking at that good to great is the positive correlation, that fair to poor is, we want the lower percentages there. I'm just so pleased with some of these numbers, especially when you look at math and, math, which is a tough subject, right? It's tough here, it's tough when they get to the high school, and you have, well over 85% of our kids who are feeling like I was well prepared for math. English again, a rigorous class. Kids are leaving here feeling well prepared. As we go through all of the different subjects, we're seeing kids that really are feeling like they've got a good foundation, a good base as they move on to the high school. I think it's important to remember, as it's a reminder that I give each year, when it comes to world language, we have some kids that don't take a world language when they go off to the high school, right? And then others who switch languages, so they've had Spanish up to this point, because that's the language that we offer. And then they switch to German or French, Latin, or Italian. And so they may struggle a little bit more because they're now in a brand new, so they may have rated themselves a little bit less prepared for that. But as you'll see when we get to world language grades, their grades don't necessarily reflect kids who struggled in those classes. When we some additional preparedness information, and we look at kind of those maybe, let's call it softer types of skills. Again, academic skills, feeling almost 95% of the kids feeling like they're well prepared for the academics. The study skills are there. Time management, again, that's something that we're always helping kids with. That's something that we're able to work on now in our WIN program with kids. We've really tried to focus on some of the executive functioning skills that are going to help with some of these things. Stress management, I think, is something that, as whether you're 15 or 50, is something that everybody always needs. But again, still looking at almost 70% of our kids feeling like they have a good handle on their stress management. And then kind of just an overall preparedness. Again, looking at that 90-some% range is really, really good, really exciting. Some of the academic outcomes, so I want to switch gears from preparedness to, okay, what do those preparedness skills look like when they are in class, right? So again, we get our first semester grades in March. We get GPA reports, both weighted and unweighted. And then we get our grade reports in all of the core subjects, and they provide data for our school compared to all of LT.
And the weighted and unweighted is if it's an advance and they get an A, that's the
Correct.
part they can help.
Right, and I have a whole explanation of weighted versus unweighted that I'll get to when we get to that slide. Actually, I'll pop it right now. So again, this is the grade distribution for our kids versus the entire school. You can see the number of the courses that kids were enrolled in, and then the number of A's, the number of B's, C's, D's, and F's for our students. And again, you're seeing, 69% of our kids getting A's and B's in their classes. So And you got to remember, 73 kids took the 72 kids took the survey.
thought it was
It's not-
72.
75. Let's go with 75 kids
Oh,
took the survey. So we're it's a pretty high percentage of our kids. I'm sorry, in the class there are 97, and this is grades, not perception. So you're looking at 69% of our kids are getting A's and B's in their classes.
You were right, 73, I was wrong.
73, but that was the survey, not this is the grade.
Oh,
this is everybody.
different, sorry.
This is everybody. So that's math. In English, again, we see similar results. Kids really feeling like they're saying they're well prepared, and we're seeing that they're well prepared from the classes that they're taking and the grades that they're getting. So again, that kind of 55, 60%-ish range in our A's and B's. Come on. Science. We got 3 different classes that freshmen generally take. Social studies, 2 classes that they generally take. And again, sometimes I think there are kids that maybe don't take a social studies freshman year, might not take a science or take something else. So again, you've got to give a little bit of latitude in some of these. And then, so this is world language, not including Spanish. So these are our kids who switched to a different language for their freshman year. So we had, 5 kids take French, 4 kids took German, 4 kids took Italian, and then 2 kids took Latin. So for them, that is a challenging class. And again, good distribution of grades there. And then the bulk of our kids take Spanish. They continue on in Spanish, and you're looking at 39 of our kids getting A's, 10 of them getting B's, 1 C, no D's, no F's in Spanish for the year. So good job, Senorita Baronio. So this is a GPA slide. And so I include the weighted and then the unweighted GPA. And so I do have an explanation of those 2 things. So I'm just going to read just so we have the official kind of definition of these things. So the main difference between a weighted and unweighted GPA is that a weighted GPA considers the difficulty, the level of courses, while an unweighted GPA treats all courses equally. Weighted GPAs assign higher point values to more challenging courses like AP or honors classes, whereas unweighted GPAs calculate the average grade point average on a standard 4.0 scale. A strong weighted GPA can indicate a student's ability to succeed in rigorous coursework, while unweighted GPA provides a more standardized view of their overall academic performance. Yes, a higher weighted GPA generally indicates that a student or group of students took more difficult weighted courses. So if we go like just a bulleted breakdown, a weighted GPA takes into account the difficulty of the courses that students are taking, assigns a higher point value to advanced courses reflecting the extra work and effort that is involved in those classes, may use a scale beyond 4.0, such as 5.0 or even 6.0, to account for the extra credit given to a harder class. Common practice is to add an additional point to a weighted class so that an A in an AP class might be 5.0, while an A in a regular class may be 4. And then for an unweighted GPA, treats all courses equally regardless of difficulty, calculates the average grade point average on a standard 4.0 scale. An A in any class, regardless of difficulty, is worth 4 points. So it may be worth 5 or 4.5 in a weighted class, depending on the difficulty of the class. And again, you see our students are right at or above where you would see the full township. So again, I think the moral of the story here is that we're sending our kids off to high school with being really well prepared. And I know we have some people at the table whose kids have gone off to high school, and the conversations I've had with you guys and with other parents are that they really feel like their kids are ready when they go. The conversations that I know our teachers have when they articulate with the high school is that they know who the Pleasantdale kids are, because the Pleasantdale kids are prepared and they're ready and they know how to do the things, and they have the things that they want them to do, and they have the academic dispositions that lead to success and lead to outcomes like this.
Dave, will you go back to that slide? But does that say that, so that, just looking at the unweighted, right? Does that say like 25% of our kids have a C average or below, and like 16 or 17% of the unweighted average of the whole school has a C average or below?
Correct. So we're a little bit higher here than we want to be. But when we go over to the weighted, we see our kids actually at, maybe not here, but this is the line I really like, or above.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, these are some areas that are close. We want to see this bar a little bit higher. I think the overall story, though, is that our kids generally are doing well in their.
And the reason I bring that up is like for, call it like an average student, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what could we be doing for a resource to help them, give them a little bit of an edge?
Yeah, all questions that we can be kind of continuing to dig into, continuing to work through, and working to move that blue bar down where we want it down, move it up in the 4 and the 3s for sure. Okay, sorry. And then, so again, similar to what I had said, that overall, you know, we're doing the good work, we're moving our kids forward. Our kids tend to do really well as they move off to the high school. And, you know, again, we want to make sure that they continue to make progress, continue to move in the right direction. Questions? Cool. Thank you. Yeah, so there is one policy in your packet, and so the administration is recommending a revision to Board Policy 895, and this reflects new federal requirements for local education agencies. The changes require districts to formally include parent engagement meetings in board policy. We already do these parent engagement meetings as part of our process. Jennifer Ban will do a presentation next board meeting. Is it next board meeting or the?
June.
In
I
June.
won't do a presentation. It's the consolidated district.
That's what I was thinking. Consolidated plan. In order to get that approved, we need to have this in our policy, even though we're already doing this. So the engagement meetings are already our practice, but the feds want to see the engagement, that commitment in our policy. So that's why we brought this forward now, so that we can approve the policy and then upload it into the portal so that the feds can see, yep, they did what they said they would do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Wait, did you say like engagement and creating policy? Or just general parent engagement?
Go ahead.
We're required to have, because we receive federal money through our title grants, we're required to follow the federal guidance on parent engagement, and they want our policies to look a certain way. One of those requirements is I have to have an annual meeting about title grant programs. So we're just putting in the policy that we have that meeting. So basically this is a formality.
Got it.
But I have now a new requirement for our consolidated district plan that unlocks all our grants is that I have to upload this policy.
Got it.
It is new this year.
Oh, okay.
We didn't used to have to upload the policy, now we do.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. That makes sense.
So it'll be on the, we're gonna approve this the same way we do approve all other policies. So review this month, and then at the next meeting, it'll be on the agenda in consent for approval.
Got it.
Cool.
Item 6 is items for the next agenda, which will be in June. So we have the community engagement update, review school board section 2 board policies, approve hot lunch fees, to approve the fiscal year 2027 transportation contract, approve cleaning services for the fiscal 2027 school year, review extracurricular student activities, student services update, and the spring testing report. Any feedback on the agenda? No. Item 7, open forum. We did not have that here, and so we will move to
All in
say all in
favor?
favor.